The Coleman medal, the Norm Smith medal, Brownlow medal is Jimmy Bartel. Matthew Lloyd.
I can't believe I'm saying this, Jim, but the competition is better when Carlton and Collingwood are up and about, and they are up and about this Friday night at the MCG. Going to be massive, and the only way Carlton win this game of football is if they get their pressure right up and they try and spook the Pies into making mistakes like Port Adelaide did for 3 quarters, Jim, but just couldn't sustain it. But they were uncharacteristic mistakes by some of the Pies. Yeah, you watch it's the next number in, and they keep coming forward, so they just back each other in, and that's a fair bit of confidence what Port Adelaide do, and Carlton need to have this confidence in their teammates. The next one comes in, which means the one behind rolls up, and also any forward running down from behind can force that error handball, which you can score off turnover. Yeah, 3 of the 4 games where they've actually been close to being beaten or beaten, the pressure rating was huge against the Pies to give you a chance. Carlton, well, they have to move the ball quickly. The last time they played Collingwood, they moved it slow, and Collingwood love this. They'll just give you as many of these marks as you want because you're going nowhere. You have to take them on, don't you, which Carlton have started to do. Yeah, and you look at this there. One just went out of screen, but 4 Carlton players almost behind the line of the kicker. At some stage, you've got to come back through Collingwood, and now you're playing the game 13 or 14 v 18, and they're just too good at doing that, and that's why Darcy Moore had 10 intercept marks last week. But we've noticed they've made the change. So early in the year, they would have taken that one wide to the wing. Now they're going through the corridor, which is challenging the opposition defence, which they'll have to against this star-studded Pies defence. And you have a look at it, and they've done it against Port Adelaide here. Defenders are turning around, midfielders are just jogging back. They can't get set, and you can't roll over and help out, which we know that Collingwood defence can do really well. And this last one from Silvani, this is a dangerous kick, but you'd rather do this than just be safe going sideways like they were doing. So it's chaos. May turn it over, but look what happens if you can get it out the back. And that's what they've got to do to challenge Collingwood. Yeah, you've got to beat them before they get back and set in defence. And as mentioned before, if Darcy Moore can stand there, Jeremy Howe, Murphy, these guys, they'll just pick you apart. So Willem Drew got Nick Dacos. Who are you setting for him this game? So George Hewitt, he had a fantastic game last week, and his role at Carlton, he's been more of a ball winner. This is him back in the Sydney Swans days on Tom Mitchell here. I think if he does this role on the weekend, like the Willem Drew role, like his old Swans role, he still wins enough of the footy, but he's a big body around the contest. Try and force Nick Dacos, who I want that match up to go ahead. Try and force him inside. We know he's going to win the footy, but you can't have him running on the outside, hitting up forwards or having that scoreboard impact. Expect Cripps to be out, so you should get that opportunity again. You're tipping the Pies? Oh, you have to tip the Pies every week. Pies for me as well. This is going to be huge. 5th v 7th. The Western Bulldogs be the GWS Giants. And Jim, your Giants, they are flying defensively. Yep, the Orange team here have been really good. It's taken a little bit of time to adjust to Adam Kingsley's defensive style, but it's starting to shine out in the last 5 weeks. It's that forward half pressure, but led the back line, Sam Taylor, who we'll touch on in a minute. But all these numbers are really positive because they're coming forward in waves from their forward line, which is allowing their backs to come over and help out. I think he's probably the best backman in the game now. Tell us about Sam Taylor. So it's amazing this. So not many people would have seen this footage coming up. This is Sam Taylor. He actually suffered septic arthritis where it got into his spine. He's got a bum bag and a drip in here. Lost over 10 kilos during around the COVID period. A year later, he was All-Australian, best and fairest winner, probably in line for another All-Australian. Just a magnificent player, the big octopus down back there for the Giants. So let's look at the defence. So it's not only in defence where Sam Taylor plays. So this is the first part of it. Pressure is unrelenting, so they're getting numbers back in front of King. King didn't touch it last week, got frustrated because they are so good in this area, but no one talks about how good the pressure is forward of the ball, Jim, like this. So Toby Green's now joining in with tackling. Xavier O'Halloran, who's out of the side, he's found a role. Toby Bedford up at the Giants now, high pressure player. And Brent Daniels, who's back fit as well, he joins in and is getting scoreboard pressure off it. But look at all the midfield gets a break, sitting outside 50. Taylor, Himmelberg, Buckley, they just get to pick you off. Now, this is where you can challenge that 6-6-6 before that Giants can get set. I loved the Dogs midfield last week, and I loved it where they get centre clearance. If they can threaten this Giants defence, get them 1v1, that gives Norton, Ugelhagen, Waitman a big chance. Yeah, during that run of Giants wins, the opposition's actually done really well through centre bounce and score from centre bounce. The Hawks did it a couple of weeks ago, and with the talent of Libera and Bont and their ability to win clearances but hurt you with them, that is a big opportunity for the Doggies. In Ballarat, can you... Well, I'm going to go the Giants, of course. I think we can really push it. What do you think, Lloyd? I think the Dogs, because it's in Ballarat, but it should be a fantastic game. Richmond and Melbourne is the last game we're going to look at. And just on where the goals are going to come from, I'm a bit concerned about Jack Riewoldt and the forwards of Richmond. But last week, they got a lot of goals out of midfielders. And you look at this. I think they'll have to do that again against this Melbourne side because I'm concerned about May and Lever. But if you can get that many goals from midfielders, it gives you a chance.
Yeah, and it's a sign for the Tigers going forward is how many can spin going forward, because you want to keep throwing different looks at this Melbourne defence. Lloydie, who obviously with May and Lever, they're the rock behind Melbourne's midfield, which they stop so many goals, but they turn defence into attack really quick.
So you've got a job for Jack Riewoldt. So we can see here that Lever and May are pretty much unbeatable at times if you give them a chance, but you saw something in Melsham to Andrews that he did well.
Yeah, so it's almost doing what Melbourne did to Brisbane here. Jake Melsham, he's not over-leading, he's just playing back shoulder here of Harris Andrews. And Jack Riewoldt's got such a great reputation, and whether it's May or Lever, have to watch him the whole entire time. He's a very smart player, Jack. But look at this, little short leads. That's not a massive distance, that's not charging up, but just the right time to go. Just pop into the pocket, and we can see Jack Riewoldt doing that multiple times, and at least making May and Lever have a think about it. Know the right time to come up with the footy, and can be a dangerous option inside forward 50.
I'm going Melbourne.
Oh, I think the D's at the moment.
But back to you, Ed.
Go on, boys. That was absolutely sensational. Great analysis from Matthew, Lloyd and Jimmy Bartel.